Hello dear Detectorists fans, I'm coming to you with this video to give you a feedback on the multiple choice test you took online. First I would like to thank people for connecting on time. I was very impressed, as I have into the system I can get all the statistics of when people connect. I'm amazed. Also concerning the respect of the 10-minute deadline, I did run it a little bit longer because I have students with tiers-temps, so I didn't stop after 10 minutes, but then I checked to see who had gone above, and you guys, out of my 90 students taking the test, no one went above, so I'm very impressed with that. I would like to thank you. If you haven't gotten your result yet, well, that's because you haven't asked me. So all you have to do is go on Teams and you send me a private message and you give your first name, your family name, and then your class. And then I give you the grade. So I would like to make a little video to give you the results of the answers, because weirdly enough, École Direct could not do that. I'm annoyed, and I don't want you to wait until we're back, because I don't know about you, but when I take a test, it's nice to know the result fast enough, and so that's why there is this video. I will start with the questions that most of you got right, and so there will be no explanation at all, and I will focus at the end on the 3 or 4 questions out of 20 where the scores were not so high, because surely this is where they need to be done. But first of all, I got some messages of people after the test that completely blew my mind, to the point that I had to change the grading system. Let me tell you, some people wrote to me just after the test saying, I was really confused because I was allowed to click on multiple answers, because École Direct didn't stop me from doing that. I thought it was a clear message that I should choose different answers, because there was a bit of truth in more than one answer. Okay, then I was flabbergasted by that. Of course, there was only one answer to give, except if indicated otherwise, because that's the way it is with QCM. If you take your driving test, you will be asked to choose one, unless there's more than one they tell you. But then you will say, well, then why didn't you stop me by doing that, by forcing me into giving just one answer? Well, because most multiple choice questionnaire are done on some kind of weird piece of hard paper, and you need to get a 2B pencil, and you have to circle black the right answers. And then you give it back to them, and it goes through a machine, and it gives you the answers. It is still done like that, because if you test 500 students, it's not clear you have 500 computers in a room for that, so it's easier to give them little pieces of paper, and then the computer will read that. And if you are on your little piece of paper with your pencil, you can fill up more than one circle. It will cancel, of course, the answer. There will be no, well, there's one good out of 2, so I give them half a point. No, there's no negotiating. And so École Direct was simulating a real QCM. So, of course, you might be telling me now, you didn't say it clearly. True. It's on me, my bad, as young people say today. And that's why I have revised the grading system, and I have cancelled the removing of the wrong answer that was getting the grades much lower. The average was around 12 in the different classes. Once I removed that, the average was around 14. So to compensate for the fact that maybe I had not explained sufficiently in details, because I took for granted you guys knew, and I was wrong. For most of you, it was the first time you were taking a multiple choice test. Then, of course, I did not do the job of making it very clear. And to compensate, I have made the grading calculating system easier so that people had a higher grade, and I think it's fair enough. So the question everybody loved: what is the difference between a detector and a detectorist? One is a machine, one is a person. You were good at knowing who was Lance, who was Andy and who was Sophie, so I don't need to go further into that. You were very good with the bones on Bishop's Land, and no wife was murdered, or if she was not buried there. Good for you. The picture of Sophie kissing Andy, most of you knew it was the antique researchers who took it. At the end, you know who is getting married with who. Not everybody is getting married. It is just Andy with Becky. The treasure thereafter, you were pretty good with that. Everybody recognized it was a Saxon burial site. Sheila's incredible lemonade is incredible because she puts too much lemon and not enough water and sugar, and no one can drink it, but she doesn't seem to notice because she doesn't change the recipe. TV is a topic that Lance and Andy discuss a lot, and it is quizzes that they love. You should know that in England, quiz shows are very different from in France. They are highly intellectual, they are very difficult, and you have the best students of Oxford, Cambridge, and other universities who participate to them. Two of them are really very famous. One is called IQ and the other one is called University Challenge. They are intellectual programs, and they're popular, something we don't have in France. We don't have intellectual, difficult, popular programs in France, and that's why I love English television and I don't like French television. Andy gives up detecting at the end of season 1, only to prove Becky that he loves her. Friendship. Oh yes, that was not an easy one for you. What is friendship based on? And a lot of you said generosity, that they would share what they find. No. Oh no, Lance doesn't share his gold. Lance also doesn't share his lottery winning, and also he doesn't even tell his friends that he won the lottery. So honesty, generosity, that's not what it's based on. Friendship in this show is based on sharing common passions, common interests, and it is not some kind of idealized, perfect people, you know, we will share, we will tell everybody. No, they are flawed individuals, they are not perfect, they just enjoy the same things. Women are not perfect angels in this show, but they are not nasty bitches, because sometimes they're angels, sometimes they're bitches, just like men, and so they are normal people. An English pub in this show is a place where you do drink alcohol, obviously, but also you can sing. If you go to Ireland, the pubs are constantly playing bands and it is very loud, and you don't go there to have a conversation. And also, just like on TV, people really enjoy playing quizzes, but in an English pub you can also participate to darts competition. And an English pub is not like a cafe, when in France you basically go to have conversation or to read the newspaper. But in an English pub, there's a lot of social activities going on, and if you do not like them, then you don't go to the pub. And usually in the same city, you have pubs, different pubs, who specialize in more than one thing. So one pub will be famous for its music, another pub will be famous for this type of competition, and on and on. And so it's really like a party. If you go to a pub, you basically go to a party. And if you go to a cafe, you basically go to a living room. It's kind of a different atmosphere there. Relationships Relationships in this episode are very realistic, in the sense that they are stormy. And maybe you don't know the word stormy. It comes from the storm. The storm, you know what is a storm? It's like a tempest with electrical lightning and heavy rain. And in this story, in this series, the relationships between men and women are not easy at all. I mean, Becky and Lance won't stop fighting, and Becky's so jealous she throws beer in the face of Sophie. This is not exactly romantic, and it is not ideal, because once again the series tries to be realistic, and the relationship is tense. It's tense between men and women. It is not easy, and it is not perfect. Buttons, I thought that was easy. Buttons are found in the ground very easily, but also simultaneously it is a conference that Terry, the ex-police officer, makes in the club. And finally, I keep for the end the 4 questions you found the most challenging. So the DMDC, it's a club, and let me find, because I don't know it all by heart, let me find here the 4 options you had. Is it a group of misfits? Misfits being outsiders. A group of great friends. Everybody's connected. Everybody sees each other outside of work and all of that. It's not even a group. Or it is connecting people through tolerance and acceptation. Well, the good answer was it is connecting people through tolerance and acceptation. People are not all interconnected through friendship. The 2 girls, the couple of lesbians, for example, they don't seem to see anyone outside of the group. Terry and Sheila seem to have a lot of things happening outside, and so they don't participate to it all. They are not all misfits. Some people are very well integrated in the community, and it is a group because they do have a place and they do meet very regularly, but they just have tolerance and acceptation for each other. And so that is exactly, again, a very realistic description of a group of human beings. We cannot all be friends, but we can have tolerance and acceptation for each other. The theme song, I'm Waiting for You. Well, that was really a tricky question. I will grant you that. There were some questions who were slightly tricky. This one is tricky because if you listen to the lyrics alone, I'm Waiting for You is really one person waiting for another person. So it's about love, connection, friendship. But if you put the song and match it with the picture that you see in the series, you see the treasure, the different jewels in the ground, under the earth, in the ground, as I'm Waiting for You is heard. And that means the treasure itself is telling the detectorists, I'm waiting for you, I'm waiting to be found. And so you can only truly understand the meaning of I'm waiting for you if you combine the picture with the lyrics. That was tricky because you had to be observant. Yes, that was tricky. Another tricky one. Oh yes, gold is a symbol of. And I can hear the class say, but you said gold was a symbol of connection and relationships, which is true. I said that to you before you watched the series, and I said gold is the symbol of deep, authentic connection between human beings. True. But then you've seen the whole series. And so this very simplified, over-simplistic presentation of the show does not necessarily match you having processed 6 episodes. Just like I'm sure most of you who are going to do a prep school in math have been told by their math teachers, what we learn now you need to know, but you need to know that in prep school they're going to tell you it's all wrong, but it is because you were given the simplified version of something and now we have to tell you the truth, and the truth is a lot more complex and you have to undo what you've done. I'm sure math teachers are warning you. Well, I, as a literature teacher, I'm warning you. Whatever you're told before you read a book, or you watch a series or watch a film or whatever, might not completely match what you will be told after you're done reading the book because you were given an oversimplified definition of things. So here, gold is a symbol of, you had a choice of, oh, let me find that one. I think it was at the beginning. Gold is a symbol of safety and wealth, hopes and dreams, love and connections, or safety, wealth, hopes, dreams, love and connections. And the answer was safety, wealth, hopes, dreams, love and connections, because gold, now that you've watched the whole series, I can tell you, represent the best of humanity. And the best of humanity's safety, that's what we should be giving to every children in the world. Wealth, meaning you will not need anything, you will not be cold when it's cold, you will not be hungry, etc. You have wealth, you have everything you need. Hopes and dreams, well, clearly that's a massive part of being a happy human being. And of course, love and connections. So gold represents the best of life, the best of humanity, and that is safety, wealth, hopes, dreams, love and connections. And finally, the winner of the hardest question is Danbury. Okay, let's go there, people. I know you're expecting me to say something and you can go, but I didn't know that. You never said. True. Let's go there. Okay, Denbury. This was the way the question was worded. Denbury, the name of the town is a hidden message. So first in the sentence, I tell you there's a hidden message. So because there is one. First, it's a Dane, meaning a Viking from Denmark, that must be buried there. That was the right answer, my people. Or there is no hidden message, it's just a name. I'm going to explain that in a second, why this is completely wrong. A Dane is a dog, so it must be a good place for dogs. Yeah, Dane is also the name of a race of dogs, but clearly that has nothing to do with the dog bones that were found on Bishop's Land. And a lot of old places sound like that in England, as in Canterbury. Okay, so when I say there is no hidden message, it's just a name, that is something that is completely untrue, because in English literature, and that is different from French, names chosen by writers and authors do mean something. And you're going to say, how can I know that? Well, either it is something you know from general culture, or something you have because you have studied it in some English class, or something you know intuitively because you've read Harry Potter, and then maybe you have noticed that in Harry Potter, people have names that really reflect who they are, and you even have books written on the analysis of the names of Harry Potter, because actually it is a big part of English literature, the names. And it is a problem for translators, because then there is a rule that you should not translate names. But what if the name means something? Then maybe you should translate it. And I think in the French Harry Potter, some names were translated to match that thing. And of course you're going to say, but what if we don't... and you could also have gotten that information if you had done research on the series, if you had gone online and watched a couple of YouTube videos or read a couple of articles on it. They explain that the village it was shot is not called Danbury at all, but they chose Danbury because they want to indicate in the name of the village that they are in the right spot looking for the treasure they're looking for. So you could have actually known it, or got the intuition of it, or you could have done research on it. That was the only three ways to get it. But please know that in a multiple choice test, usually there's 5 to 10% of questions that need prior knowledge to what you're asked. And this is exactly what I did with my test. A lot of old places sound like that in England, like Canterbury. Yes, true. Bury is indeed the ending of it, but usually because something or someone important was buried in the place. So there is a connection. And of course, to the people who said, but what if when we are offered a choice, there's a bit of truth in a lot of the answers? Difficult multiple choice tests like the one for the end of high school or university, but even when I was in Germany, the test that they take at the end of the class de seconde it was all multiple choice, and there was some truth in many answers, not just one. Well, yes, of course, that's the way it's going to be. And you have to identify which one has the highest amount of truth in it. Because if I give you 4 choices and 3 are completely wrong and 1 is completely right, you don't have to do much thinking at all. And the point of a test is to help you do some thinking. So, yes, of course, there will be a little grain of truth in more than one answer so that you think. And your job is to identify the one that is the closest to the truth, obviously. So I hope you enjoyed the test. For some of you, it's going to be clearly learning about how works a multiple choice test, as I've just explained. For some of you, it's about going deeper into the detectorists, like for Danbury, or the symbol of gold, or understanding the theme song with the pictures. Some of you said that it's all up for debates. Fine. If you want to debate, we will not be doing it in class. You will be doing it under this post on Teams, you can write what you want in English, and then people can debate. And once there is enough debates, I will give my own point of view. So that's it for the procedure of debating. That's it for having all the solutions. And if you want to know your grade, all you have to do is politely send me your first name and family name and class, and I will be happy to give you your grade. This is it. 20 minutes are gone. Took me twice the time to give the solutions than you to take the test. And once again, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being punctual. Thank you for following all the instructions. I was really impressed on that. Goodbye, people.